My name is Joe. Welcome to the center, the Sit.Feel.Heal Center, Meditation Center, Thursday night group. Glad you're here. So let's just start with a little arriving meditation. Let ourselves kind of just settle into the room, feeling the body, taking a look around. Yeah. And you can leave your eyes open or gently close your eyes. It's up to you. And just whether your eyes are open or closed, just noticing what's present, noticing the mind itself, these thoughts, these feelings from the day, these emotions, whatever you're trying to leave outside the door may be here. And sneaky little feelings. Or maybe the mind's already resting. And without judgment, we just notice. And without pushing or trying or efforting, we let go by just letting be, giving these feelings, giving these thoughts some space just to do their thing. We do this by just shifting awareness for a moment, shifting awareness down to the feet, feeling the connection, the floor, the body being held in the chair, noticing sensations of touch, hands resting in the lap, air connecting with your skin. You might notice some discomfort, soreness. Maybe there's some comfort here as well. Maybe comfort with the thought that there's no effort needed anymore. That you've arrived, you're sitting. You can be held in this chair, this moment. Chair, the floor, the earth, totally capable of holding you. We notice this breath. And this lifelong friend, the breath, just breathing. No need to change the way you're breathing. Just notice wherever you feel the breath coming in, wherever you feel the breath going out. Notice the sounds inside the room, outside the room, inside, outside. Taste, smell, and seeing, even with the eyes closed, there's shapes, there's colors, mental images left over from a thought. Because yeah, there's still thoughts. It's part of this human experience. The mind thinks. And it's not a mistake. It doesn't have to be a problem. We acknowledge thinking and let go by just letting it be and returning awareness back to the feet, the seat, the sounds, the breath, with a gentle invitation of rest. You've arrived. And as we settle in, and the mind may be naturally settling by itself. This practice is just about showing up for ourselves, learning to be with what arises, learning to respond with compassion, wisdom, and also ways that we can use the mind to our benefit, to reflect, to contemplate. So I want to invite you right now to practice this by just for a moment bringing to mind a song, whatever song comes to mind. And in your mind, you can the lyrics or the melody, and pause for a moment. Does this feel? Can you feel anything here? Is there a felt sense as you hold this song in your mind? Does it bring joy or sadness, a memory, excitement? Are you in the mosh pit? Are you stage diving? Are you dancing at a dead show? All of it okay. And just let that rest in the back of the mind, bringing the awareness back to the breath. We'll just transition here with a few breaths together in the spirit of practicing together. So, on the count of three, I just invite you to gently breathe in through the nose and allow the air to just fall out the mouth. So, on three, 1, 2, 3, in, and let it go. Again, slowly in, like you're filling up a balloon, and let it go. And really push the air out, get it all out right now. And again, slowly in, fill up that balloon all the way as big as you can and just hold it for a moment at the top. And on the out breath, make some noise. And just check it in with the feet, the seat, the sounds. And as I ring the bell, just gently bringing your awareness back in the room. It's always cool from this view after the little arriving meditation. It's everything just kind of, you can feel it, just settle in. You all feel it? What's it feel like over there? Good, thumbs up. What was that? Warm and fuzzy. Love it. Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of hard to hear in here if you don't have a mic. So I want to hear y'all. So just speaking up a little bit would be nice. People in the back could hear, and I'll try to repeat it. But yeah, anything anybody want to check in with? What are you coming in with? What song popped in your mind?
Simple man.
Simple Man. All right. All right. The Wheel. Buffalo Soldier. Road to Nowhere. I like it. Okay. Keep them coming. Easy Lover. Thieves. That's a great song, man. Thieves and Liars. Yeah. Happy Together. Yes. Yeah. Nice. It- Help on the Way. Nice. Love it. Yeah. Please. Nowhere Man. Yeah. Yeah. I sense a theme here. Lost, finding, searching. And when you thought of the song, did y'all feel something? It's interesting, right? Just fucking brings you back. What'd you feel? Grateful? Playful. Nice, nice. Love and sadness. Yeah, the mixed bag. Yep. Yeah. Anybody else? Expansive? Yeah, yeah. The song that I woke up with this morning was, I think it's Winners and Losers, Social Distortion. Yeah, such a great song. And it has that whole theme as the lyrics of just struggle and success and balance and yeah. So in a sense, like that little practice, it's you got to practice that, right? Where we can use the mind in a way of shifting focus, right? I'm sure you guys y'all are coming in with something today, right? There's always something. So for a moment we can settle. The practice is inviting us to settle, to show up, and just to notice what's arising. We don't need to exile any part of us and leave that at the door, right? Your every part of you is welcome here. And that's the hard part because a lot of us come to this practice because we want to fix, and not all of us, but I definitely was my needed when I started learning the practices. Is like, okay, so if I do concentration and then metta and I mix them perfectly, then I'll be at ease, right? And it was like, there's no mix. It's like I'm mixing cocktails. Such a junkie. But the other part of our practice is this contemplating part of the practice and how to, retrain our mind just by bringing our awareness back to presence, back to the feet, the seat, the sounds, the breath, and finding one of these places just to rest, even if it's just for a moment. That's training the mind to get into one of its default modes of rest and digest so that we can be with the stress. But we're just stress, 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 collapse, stress, 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 collapse, escape, whatever it is. But this is retraining the mind to actually take moments of rest, digest, so that we can be with the stress in a more wise way and meet ourselves with compassion, or, you know, that space between stimulus and response. But the other part of it too is turning towards and being curious about what's arising, these emotions that are arising, these feelings that we're trying to get rid of. If we give them enough space with presence, then we can be curious. But if we're all tangled up in them, it's just like, no. So wherever you're at in your practice, you can meet yourself right there, and there's a perfect place for it. It's all suggestive, what I'm offering here. But the practice for me is giving me the tools to have a different relationship, a more, I'm just going to keep with the wise and compassionate relationship to the way I feel, to the thoughts. I was kind of bummed when I found out it's like, oh, no one can stop their mind from thinking. I thought that there's some magic here, right? Like that formula, concentration, metta. And there is something to that, right? There's some concentration. Then the metta is love and kindness practice of reflecting on, yeah, the love and kindness, love in our life, and can we send that love and kindness towards ourselves? We did a little practice of that last week, but it's learning to respond to what's arising as well. So it's not really a complacent practice. But it's funny, we come in here and we sometimes, I'm not going to speak to everybody's experience, but wanting to fix, get rid of, and I was reflecting on this today, and I speak in metaphors a lot of time. And I like that, being a artist. I think being a lyricist, but I just wrote something and I'm like, how do I turn this into something? But maybe I'll just read what I wrote. I want to offer this little writing, and you can take time to bring your awareness inward, but you don't have to, or whatever, your eyes are open or closed, and maybe just let the words land and see what it inspires in you. And I titled it Already Here. And I wrote, we can spend a lifetime searching for lasting peace of mind, trying to fix ourselves, trying to become someone, trying to live up to a version that was never ours to begin with. Borrowed selves and hand-me-down dreams. a life projected from someone else's idea of who we were supposed to be. And the harder we tried, the further away it felt, like chasing the horizon, only to find it keeps moving. Somewhere along the way, we lost contact with what was real inside us. So eventually, we put the list down, all the shoulds, all the plans, all the ways we thought peace was supposed to look. We let the noise fall quiet, feet on the ground, breath coming in, going out. This moment arriving, and something starts to soften. Because we don't need to chase the light. We never did. It's been with us our whole damn lives. Even in the dark, especially in the dark, it still comes through, still pulsing, still alive. What we come here searching for, looking for, we find is already here. Within every fear, every restless thought, every voice that says, "You're not enough yet." When we stop fighting it, it can turn to weather passing through, clouds moving across the wide sky of us. Nothing to fix, nothing to get rid of, just something to notice. We let it move. We don't grip so tight, like waves meeting the shore. It comes and it goes. And we remember, we don't need to chase the light. It's been with us all our lives. Even in the dark, it's still clear, still true. What we've been looking for is already here. We learned how to hold identities tight because we had to. And somewhere along the way, that grip became familiar. Now we're learning how to loosen it without disappearing. With empty hands, no checklist, no destination. Just this breath, this body, this life. Already here, already belonging, already enough. And these words are inspired. And part of our practice is reflecting on all the different ways that we try to show up for ourselves, the way we just try to survive, and how many masks that we have to wear throughout our lives, and how many masks that I thought was the right one for myself, and really holding on to this is me. kept me away from spirituality for a long time because I want nothing to do with this hippie shit. I was a punk skater from Santa Cruz. Don't you know? That worked out for me really good, you know? Just reflecting on our own lives of how many lives have we lived in this one life? And a lot of ours are just made up, but a lot of it is a projection. It's a learned thing. And it just takes us away. This thing I think of, and I think having personality is a good thing, right? It's just a fixed view of this is who I am, this fixed view of self. Because all these different lives that I've lived, that we have lived, they kind of create this personality that makes us who we are. In the Buddhist realm, they talk about not self, and I have an interesting idea about that. There's something that is here that is showing up. But can we show up with not a fixed view of what it needs to be like? Like, I'm a father, I'm a musician, I'm a partner, I'm a friend, a teacher, whatever hat. And there's some sort of responsibility for all these different things that we show up for, right? But it's when we have a fixed view of what this relationship needs to look like from our end, right? Without being in relationship, is I feel like that is the separation. You got to remember that there's no separate self, but there is when I'm with my kid, I'm dadding, right? Anyway, but stuff like that, right? That the connection, but how we held on to these fixed ideas, and then when we get into spirituality, like how we can make that part of our identity, right? Because it's so important, it really is. But then it's like, okay, this is who I am now. I fell in that trap before. I don't know if anybody can relate to that. And then when we fall short, we're doing something wrong. And can we just have a place where we can just show up as we are and find that, that whatever you want to call it, that the Buddha nature, the essence, the soul, whatever it is that is here, that is beyond all the masks, all the ways that we had to survive. And that's all it was. And we don't need to dismiss those things either, the behaviors, it, whatever behaviors, how we identified, right? There's a lot of behaviors. It was tied to what a Santa Cruz punk skater kid looked like, right? That we're not skillful at all. So can we come to this practice here just to be, just to see? We connect with others. We learn maybe some tools that can help you navigate this human experience in a more skillful way toward yourself, right? To be with all the shit that you're trying to get rid of or change. And it's just changing our relationship too. And the very simple suggestion over and over is feet, seat, sounds, breath. Curiosity is all you need. And there's nothing to fix. Just reminding, and even think about that right now, right? In your mind, just say to yourself, nothing's broken. Do you believe it? I believe it. I don't think anyone in here is broken, or anyone in general, misguided totally. So we just notice what's here and we guide ourselves back. We guide ourselves back to that Buddha nature, that soul, that essence, whatever's here. that is beyond all the masks, that we can only find in the spaciousness within. And we practice here so we can be more there in relationship. We can find that spaciousness in relationship, not have to be searching for the breath, searching for that spaciousness. It's just there. The more we show up, whether it's here or in your own practice, on your own, here's a great place to do it because we do it with each other. And it's like there's something in that. For a long time, I was on my own mish. I'm like, I don't need a community to meditate because we don't. You can, but I definitely was missing out on this. Definitely feel way more connected here. Ever did on myself by myself. So if there's anything with this reflection is notice if your quest, the search, or whatever brings you to these kind of practices, if you notice the more you're grasping at that perfect mix of concentration and metta, if it just seems like it pushes it further away, because that's what I notice. The more I try to grasp onto, oh, that's it, it's not it. And how much of our lives have been that. I remember I wanted to, yeah, I'm a diva in some ways, but I'm like, I wanted this car, this Audi. I wanted a Q7, but I got a Q5. And I was stoked for a minute, and it was great. And then I'm like, I really want that Q7, right? And being a musician, I was, in a band from Santa Cruz doing a lot of good things. And a lot of people would say that it looked successful, but it never felt successful to me. What is the next show? What is the bigger show? What is the contract? What is that? This thirst. We all have that, this thirst, right? And then really the drive was just this, that's how I felt like, I felt loved or appreciated more, validation. It's like really strung out on it. That's my story. We all have our different stories, how we have that tanga, the thirst of more. Can we show up actually just right where we are? There's no magic. The magic is you. In our practice, the purpose and belonging, it doesn't come from being the best meditator. It's not a becoming somebody different than you already are. What we find out is who we want to become, we already are. It's already here. We just keep getting in our way, right? And they emerge when we stay with what is arising, what is here, especially with what hurts, the difficulties. Suffering isn't a mistake. Sometimes it's the fertile soil that the seeds of ease and peace and joy sprout from. And what I like about our practice of mindfulness, of self reflection, is that it doesn't take us away from our lives, right? We're not trying to get some meditative state. You might touch into some edges of that, but it helps us show up for ourselves fully. And that's where belonging lives. So we don't have to search for belonging. So I'm going to just take a moment right here, just to slow down and invite you to just bring your awareness inward for a moment. And this is where we can do this reflective curiosity in a practice. We feel our feet on the ground, we hear the sounds, we connect with our anchor. We notice. And with this topic of searching, what are you searching for? And if you don't know, that's okay. And whether you know or don't know, where do you notice this search in your body? Is it a fluttering, tightening, swirling? Just take note, touch the edges of it. And if you don't know, that's okay. And as we bring our awareness back to presence, back to the feet, the seat, the sounds, this letting go, what happens when you stop trying to get somewhere else? What's something already here that you're connecting with? And can you trust that what you've been looking for is already here, even if you don't see it yet? Thank you all. So we'll take a little stretch bio break and we'll do some meditation. All right, everybody. So let's hurry up and meditate now. So just slowly making your way back to a seat or a posture. You know, there is maybe some space in the back. There's some space up here too. If you want to, you're getting the blankets or cushions, you can lay down. You can take up space if there is any. You know, this practice doesn't have to look a certain way. And the simple words of, quoted the Buddha was teaching that whether you're sitting, standing, laying down, walking, just know, that that's what's happening. So the invitation here is not a beginning or a doing, but just a transition. Transition from outward awareness to inward awareness. Eyes open, eyes closed, finding a posture that feels supportive. If you're sitting upright, maybe not all uptight. If you're laying down, be relaxed but alert. And we notice the mind already wanting it to be different. And then it's different. Can you invite the mind to rest and connect with the feet, the seat, the sounds of the breath, and something you see? And this place is not a place to hold on to, it's a place to remember, to return to. Sometimes referred to as an anchor, a place to bring your awareness back, like an anchor of a ship. And the mind is drifting, stormy seas, plans and memories. We acknowledge thinking, we acknowledge feeling, and we return. A gentle invitation to rest, if only for a moment, before the next thought pulls you away. And remembering that that's not a mistake. It doesn't mean that you're doing something wrong here. The moment you notice you're in a thought is the moment you get to return. So can you return with ease, with a welcoming? Doesn't need to be a walk of shame back to the breath. Just a gentle reminder that in this moment right now, there's nowhere you need to go. Right now, in this moment, there's nothing you need to do. And right now, in this moment, there's nothing to fix or figure out. There's no better you that you need to become right now. And these thoughts can be part of the practice. Name the thought, label it, planning, remembering, and gently return. And as you're with your experience right now, notice what's pleasant. You can also notice what is unpleasant right now. And you can also notice what's somewhere in between. And you notice this mind attaching to pleasant, pushing away unpleasant, getting lost in the in between. We watch the mind in its ways without judgment, and we stay. Feet, seat, sounds, breath. Thoughts maybe just flying by like birds in the sky or leaves floating down a river. And we rest on the shore of our direct experience. Let curiosity be your friend here. If there is a thought and you pause, notice for a moment. Does it have any resonance in the body? Is this felt sense of an emotion that's connected to it? And as you pause, the story, the why, and just the curiosity of what are you feeling right now? Where do you feel it? Whether it's pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral, just noticing what does that feel like? And if it's difficult, just notice, touch the edges, and come back to the breath or the feet, the seat, the sounds. Just the acknowledgement is good enough. But if you can, just rest and notice this felt sense if it moves, if it expands, contracts, rises, passes. We breathe in and expand. We breathe out and soften. As we notice this rising and passing of thoughts, feelings, taking note, can remind ourselves that these feelings, these thoughts, they aren't asking to be fixed, figured out. The worries, the desires, the longing, they're just asking to be seen and held gently, lightly, right here, right now, in the loving arms of present time awareness. And even our practice here, we find ourselves searching for peace, ease. Does it seem like it gets further away? Finding purpose or sense of belonging doesn't come from becoming someone else. They emerge when we stay with what's here, especially with what hurts. Just wants to be seen and held. And can we soften the grip, let it move like waves crashing on the shore, comes and goes. And we remember we don't need to chase the light. It's been with us all our lives. Not let any doing go. Maybe bring to mind something that brings you joy, happiness. Let the mind wander if it wants to wander, or let it rest if it wants to rest. Let the body move if it wants to move, or let it rest if it wants to rest. Trust your intuitive knowing of what you need right now. And as I ring the bell, let it be an invitation, not an end or a beginning, just an invitation to transition from inward awareness to outward awareness. And go slow. You can listen to the bell all the way through, ring it 3 times. You can let the eyes open and close gently. Let any goodness that's been cultivated into transition outward. Yeah. Just greeting yourself with the movement, stretch, a pat on the back. You did good work.